Welcome, everyone. Let's just take a moment here to settle into this space together. The whole purpose of what we do here is to create a calm, reflective container where we can really explore the architectures that shape our lives. And today, we're diving into a pattern that is so subtle but incredibly powerful, the approval trap.
Now, before we really get into it, I just want to offer a reminder of our intention here. As you can see, this is a practice space. It's not a performance. We're here for genuine inquiry, to build our capacity for alignment, not to try and achieve some perfect outcome or perform for one another. So with that in mind, let's begin.
So our central inquiry today is about something the alignment architecture framework calls the imitation life. And it is absolutely crucial to understand this, not as some kind of personal failure or a flaw, but as a deeply intelligent, learned survival strategy. At its core, it's just a strategy for acceptability.
So what is it exactly? Well, an imitation life is a state where we gradually, and often completely unconsciously, trade our own authenticity for acceptability. It's this subtle exchange where getting approval becomes the main guide for our choices, and, well, expressing our own originality just starts to feel way too risky.
This really presents us with two fundamental architectures for how we can live our lives. The imitation life, it's built on this foundation of seeking safety through being acceptable to others. The authentic life, on the other hand, is built on achieving wholeness through our own internal alignment. One is a life that's managed by external perceptions. The other is a life that's led by internal truth.
So a natural question is, how do we recognize this pattern in ourselves? Well, the framework offers 4 structural symptoms we can consider. And it's really important to approach these as data points for self-awareness, not as tools for self-judgment. So let's explore what they are.
Let's just walk through these 4 symptoms. The first is performance over presence. You know that feeling? When you feel like you have to be on all the time, even when you are just bone tired, because the fear of dropping the mask feels more dangerous than complete depletion. The second is logic over resonance. This happens when you make choices you can totally justify on paper, the good opportunity, but you're ignoring that deep internal sense that something just isn't right. Then there's external referencing. Just notice if, when someone asks what you want, your mind immediately jumps to what others need or what they expect from you. And finally, guilt as a signal. This is that feeling, that sense of a micro-betrayal that pops up whenever you prioritize your own genuine needs. It's a sign that your system is wired to find safety in serving others first.
So that really covers the what of the imitation life. But it's so important to understand the why. Because this pattern isn't a character flaw. It's actually a deeply intelligent process, something we call a nervous system bargain. It's the protective mechanism that's working behind the mask.
And here's the crucial point. This is the core belief. This is the bargain. If I can stay acceptable, I can stay safe. This is the foundational logic that our protective systems adopt to make sure we survive and belong. And it often happens when we're very young. It's an intelligent, adaptive strategy.
And what's the result of this safety bargain? Well, often, it's what the framework calls inherited success. This is a life that looks amazing from the outside. It produces impressive outcomes, a strong reputation. But inwardly, it leads to a depleted inner world. It's a hollow victory, and recognizing it as that is really the first step toward building something real.
But of course, there is an alternative. Let's take a look at the path to authenticity. Now, this isn't about some kind of reckless rebellion or being totally unfiltered. It's about a fundamental shift in where we source our direction and our sense of worth. It's about reclaiming our internal authority.
And this shift involves understanding the 2 primary drivers inside of us, the small self, which is our protective, approval-sensitive part, and the true self, which is our grounded, values-led core. The goal is not to shame or get rid of the small self. After all, it's tried to keep you safe, but to learn how to let the true self take the lead.
And the capacity that we're trying to build to make this shift is internal authority. Let's be really precise with this definition. It is the ability to interpret your own experience accurately, to trust what you know and feel, and to choose from a place of integrity even when it costs you approval. This is the core work. This quote, I think, just captures the essence of the entire shift that we're exploring here. Your life isn't meant to be managed by external reactions. It's meant to be led by internal alignment. And that is the move from a reactive posture to one of true leadership in your own life.
So how do we actually begin this practice of reclamation? Well, we start not with critique, but with gentle, honest inquiry. I'm going to offer a question for you to take into your own practice as a way to start building this capacity.
Here is the question. Where have I been living a script instead of a life? Just let that land for a moment. There's no need to answer it immediately. Just hold the inquiry. Where has performance taken the place of presence? Where has a script, written by others' expectations, replaced your own authentic expression?
This is deep work, and it's really not meant to be done in isolation. So whether that's in quiet reflection, journaling, or in a dialogue with trusted peers, we really encourage you to explore whatever arises from this inquiry. A supportive space is just essential for this kind of growth.
As we close, just remember that the path out of the approval trap isn't some grand rebellion, but a quiet reclamation. It's the steady practice of choosing integrity over imitation, moment by moment. Thank you for your presence and your practice here today.